The Isle of Wight Air Ambulance has a new helicopter and they've also officially begun flying at night. The extended service will mean an extra 7 hours of coverage every night until 2 a.m. across the region. Shan Robins reports.
HIOWAA is a charity that delivers an advanced trauma team to critically injured people across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight via the Air Ambulance Helicopter Emergency Medical Service known as HEMS. Using an H135, the latest generation of Airbus EC135 helicopter, the doctor and paramedic team can be at a patient's side within minutes, providing life-saving medical interventions such as blood transfusions and anaesthesia at the roadside. With an average of 2 to 3 missions per day, they're able to deliver the same level of care expected at a hospital emergency department.
As a result of the new helicopter and the intense training the HEMS teams have undergone over the winter, we're now able to bring hospital emergency department capability to the patient 19 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Flying since the 1st of July 2007, the Air Ambulance have flown over 6,300 missions and can now respond to patient care until 2 in the morning.
I think that no matter what time of day you're injured, actually you should get the same level of care. So when you think about the winter time, just because you fall off your push bike at 5 o'clock in the evening when it's dark shouldn't mean that you get restricted levels of care. So we know that in the summer you're going to get a full HEMS team and they're going to come to you and provide all the level of care that you would normally get. And just because it's dark shouldn't change that. And so that's the exact reason why we've pushed to have an extended night service as we do.
The key area of change is that we can now land in ad hoc landing sites, not just pre-surveyed sites as was the case. So now we can conduct our operations anywhere in the area, even during the hours of darkness.
The HIOWAA's helicopter is flown by highly trained and experienced Bond pilots, and when operating at night they also use night vision goggles and a large spotlight to help reduce the risk of themselves becoming casualties. The helicopter in the day can be anywhere within Hampshire in 15 minutes and anywhere within the Isle of Wight within 20 minutes. It can land in areas the size of a tennis court and on almost any terrain. The quickest response time in the day is 4 minutes, but for night that's restricted to 8.
The nighttime restriction is really around the increased planning that we have to do for a mission. So it's around preparing for where we're going to land. So rather than just taking off and relying on our eyes from the sky to be able to pick a landing site, we really have to do some more research before we commit to taking off. So we're looking at maps, we're looking at the internet, we're using Google Earth, and we're using sophisticated software to look at where, for example, wires are located.
Dr Hill has been a part-time member of the HEMS crew for 2 years, and he also has a day job as a consultant emergency physician at University Hospital Southampton. There have been some harrowing incidents of either multiple patients or children that he's responded to in the past.
I think doing this job regularly gets you into the mindset of, you know, you're here to do the best, and unfortunately sometimes you can't save a patient. As long as you can look back and say we did absolutely everything we could for that particular person, then we know we can go home feeling like we tried, and that we can say with our hand on our hearts that to the family we really did our best. And so sometimes that's just not the case, that we can save life, but you know, of course we do get some amazing saves, and that makes it all worthwhile.
I was involved in a car accident on the M3. I'd hit a big pool of water, no other cars were involved, hit a big pool of water, aquaplanes, and my car turned over 6 times up an embankment and back down again. And I was really in a bad way. I'd lost my arm, it had gone through the window and the car had rolled on it. I was losing a huge amount of blood and I was trapped in the car, and I wouldn't have made it by road ambulance, so the air ambulance was my only chance of survival.
The Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance receives no government funding and relies on the generosity of individuals and organisations to meet the £230,000 needed each month to keep the air ambulance flying. Danielle is a young mum and passionate campaigner since receiving the services from the air ambulance.
Me and my son, we raised money for the air ambulance, and we'll continue to do it really, because before my accident I wasn't aware that they run solely on donations. We've done lots of different things, and I've climbed the O2 arena, and you know, we've done different fundraising days, and I've got a 12-hour walk coming up, so you know, we do lots of different things because it costs such a huge amount of money, so it's something that they need people to keep doing.
I do want to pay tribute to a group of people who never fail to inspire me and to make the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and more often than not, to put a lump in my throat. That's the HEMS teams of our paramedics and our doctors, and the pilots who get them in as close as possible to the patient.
I think they are good because they weren't here now, my mum wouldn't be standing right here now.
They're amazing, really, and I mean it's so easy to say that, you know, you're not going to need them, or someone that you love isn't going to need them, but I set off to work that day and had no idea that, you know, I was ever going to need an ambulance, let alone an air ambulance. And I think it's something that we shouldn't take for granted, and life is something that we shouldn't take for granted. And if you can sponsor, it doesn't matter how little it is, you're saving somebody's life.
This is Shan Robins for That's Solent.